Also, we got a new segment. It's called How Nuts Is That?
Yeah, Dan, are you excited about this one?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but Paulie goes, how nuts is that? And I go, what? He goes, no, it's the new segment on the show called How Nuts Is That?
That's how we do it around here. Not even the host knows what's coming next.
Brought to you by D's Nuts.
Brought to you by D's Nuts, not the official sponsor, still for business. All right, Dan, I want to give you a story, a real true story.
Okay.
And you guys from a level of 1 to 10, tell me, how nuts is that? Because Fritzy always says this when I'll say a story, and Todd will go, how nuts is that?
I do say that.
Okay.
So Todd is the inspiration. There was a JV basketball game in Portsmouth, Rhode Island. The Churchland JV basketball team was on the road in Suffolk against Nansemond River. It was a JV basketball game.
Okay.
Now, there's a player on the team who was about 14 years old, and she had a conflict and couldn't attend the game. So they were down to only 4 players for the game. So they had the option to forfeit the game. You cannot play with 4 players. They couldn't find a substitute. And they went with option C, Dan. 22-year-old assistant coach Arlisha Boykins decided to suit up for the game, actually impersonating the 13-year-old player who played for the Truckers, the Churchland JV team. She checked into the game, is on the road. They never played this team before. Wearing the kid's jersey, under the kid's name, checked into the game, proceeded to dominate the opposition. The head coach of the varsity was also there and was in on it. The JV head coach, and along with the varsity basketball team head coach, had both been fired. The JV coach chose to do this before the game, before they went on the road.
How nuts is that?
Okay, we're moments away from that.
Oh.
She played in the game. The varsity coach approved the move, and the opposing team had no idea, even when they were getting slaughtered by this 22-year-old who is 10 years older. The local reports say that the assistant coach and the head coach are no longer employees of the Portsmouth School District anymore.
How nuts is that?
Yeah, on a level of 1 to 10, how nuts is that for a 22-year-old assistant coach to pretend to be a 13-year-old? Not a playoff game, Dan, a random JV game.
How do you think you're going to get away with this?
The video, here's how they got caught. Initially in the game was played without incident. No one noticed. The kids on the violating team did not rat out their assistant coach because they were under orders from the coach. The video got out there, and they see this 22-year-old dominating a bunch of 15-year-olds.
Yeah, I thought it was Candace Parker running up and down the floor.
Yeah, and it got out. The one negative thing about this story is the team may have to forfeit the game and its season because of this, because they run cahoots, as they say. But Fritzy,
how nuts is that?
How nuts is that?
That's chock full of nuts. I'm going to give that an 8.4.
Wow, that's high.
Yeah.
That is unacceptable behavior.
I'd give it 8 nuts out of 10.
8 nuts.
Yeah.
There you go. Stay with the bet. Marvin, where are your nuts at on this one?
All over the place, but I'll say I'm going to go with a 9.
No, 9 nuts. Okay.
How does this happen where the varsity coach goes, hey, the assistant coach goes to the varsity coach, I got an idea. Instead of the forfeit, I'll put on a 13-year-old's jersey and play.
Why didn't they get somebody from the varsity team, tell the opposing coach, look, we don't want to forfeit, or we'll forfeit, but we want our kids to be able to play in this game. We're going to bring down one of our players from the varsity.
Honesty is the best policy.
Thank you.
Good for you.
How nuts is that?
That's the first episode of How Nuts Is That?
How nuts is that? It's going to catch on.
Crush that.
Yes.